have with us Mr. Arindam Lahiri, the CEO of ASDC. Mr. Lahiri, thank you so much for the time and for talking to us.
My pleasure.
I want to understand from you, what is the level of skills in the automotive industry in India if you talk about the present scenario? We are seeing a lot of transformation happening in this space. Electric vehicles are coming in. People are, also buying a lot of automatic cars if you talk about. So ASDC has primarily been, in the space of upskilling the manpower at the dealership level and in the manufacturing space as well. So what is the level of skills at this point in time if you talk about the auto industry?
Great. I think it's a very significant juncture that we are standing today, because I think there is a two-way disruption that is happening. One disruption is due to the environment, which is essentially around, let's say, the pandemic has caused a lot of academic institutions not to function regularly. Skills training has always been very physical. It can't be fully done digitally. So these have been some challenges, and therefore the flow of skilled manpower coming into the system has also gone down. At the same time, there are newer technologies that are coming in, and that disruption has also further added to the complexity of the process. So we are tackling it again from two directions. One is, how do you reskill and upskill the existing people in the industry for the new technologies, especially on areas of electric vehicle. BS6 itself is a new technology for the industry still, because it has just been adopted some time back, and beyond the authorized dealerships, awareness about or ability to do servicing of such vehicles itself is a big challenge, which is I think it's a bigger challenge in the, let's say, industry like a segment like two-wheelers, for instance. So we're trying to address those. On the other side, what we're also trying to do is, on the manufacturing and on the dealership side, is to bring in fresh manpower, and we are taking help of the apprenticeship scheme, which is a very flexible program that the government has, where industry has a huge amount of flexibility to induct new manpower, train them in the process, and there are financial and non-financial benefits that the industry can derive out of this. We've had a record intake this financial year. Through us, ASDC being one of the administering bodies among many, including ITIs, etc., or polytechnics, we have still been able to add in excess of 60,000 fresh people in this 1 year. And just remember that the first 2 months of the year was a complete washout because of the second wave. We've had fear of third wave keeping on coming, but we still saw a huge number of fresh people coming into the system through the apprenticeship channel. And obviously the reskilling has also been a huge effort for us. We've almost done about 25 to 30,000 people during this entire year, with the whole challenge of not being able to do a lot of physical programs, but we've still been able to do about 25 to 30,000 reskilling programs where the candidates have been impacted.
So these fresh candidates, you mentioned about 60,000 new students coming into the system through this apprenticeship program. So which are the courses that they are opting when they go inside and to learn?
A major chunk of it today is in manufacturing space, in the component industry. A lot of ACMA member companies, for instance, and Tier 2, Tier 3 other companies as well, where these people would come into areas like welding, machining, assembly operations, quality, maintenance. These are various areas where these people are being absorbed, which takes care of the manpower growth requirements of the organization, as well as replacement of the older people who have moved out. There have also been some reverse migration which has impacted these companies, so they had to bring in fresh manpower.
So then how do you actually assess these candidates, whether they are fit for doing this job or getting into the ecosystem?
So the apprenticeship model itself is designed to take care of that. So there's an initial period of basic training which happens in a training center usually, where they go through the theory and practicals, etc. We have an assessment at the end of it, and then they get on to the companies in the mode of being an on-the-job trainees,
Right.
and they continue to get evaluated over the period of next 1 year to 2 years period, let's say, during the apprenticeship duration, and then they get certified, and a lot of them obviously also continue as a worker or an operator or a technician in that organization.
So if you talk about that aspect, that particular number, so what is the percentage of people being retained in these organizations even after getting certified from their on-the-job training?
Typically, almost 95% of the apprentices continue to be in full-time job after their apprenticeship. I would put maybe 65 to 70% continue with the same organization even beyond their apprenticeship period. The rest gets absorbed by similar other organizations who would pick them up because they are available post their training, and it's a real training, in a real environment.
Right.
So they are far superior than what you can get in the market as a fresh candidate.
So in terms of employability of young candidates today, so if you compare it with the past, so is there a significant improvement in the employability of these people now?
I would say that people who go through a apprenticeship cycle, and we are trying to extend it to white collar job roles as well, or maybe grey collar job roles, let's say. Definitely at a blue collar, I think it makes immense case. There is immense, I think, opportunity for individuals to become much more employable if you go through this program, rather than trying to do a general graduation or a diploma course only, because you're not getting real life experience and training. So I think if this path is taken up, I think the government of India has given all of us a very ambitious target next year to get more and more apprentices into the system, and I do see a huge opportunity awaiting us in the Indian industry, especially in the Indian automobile industry, to have more and more. I think there is a huge opportunity in the dealership areas where dealerships could actually take advantage of apprentice programs.
Right. So when you talk about these opportunities, so we are also seeing the space kind of transform with new technologies coming in. So at the course level also, are there some of these new initiatives that ASDC is taking in terms of the curriculum, so as the students who are coming in, they get trained in relevant courses going forward?
Yeah. So one of the best things that has happened during the pandemic is that ASDC has now revised more than 100 curriculum to the current context, which in a regular year of operation would have been very challenging to do. But since we were focused much more on doing such things, I think we could do that. So yes, all the existing job roles have been upgraded to reflect the changes that have happened in technology. We've also brought in a lot of new curriculum, especially in the areas of Industry 4.0 applications, electric vehicle related specific areas in manufacturing, engineering, also service, these areas.
Right.
We are also trying to build certain partnerships internationally for people who have those expertise, and we bring on those curriculum and programs into India as well.
Right.
For us to learn from there, create a pool of trainers in this, and so for instance, we are doing some very innovative training of trainer programs in partnership with our German counterparts.
Okay.
And these trainers undergo a training in these new technologies with the help of Indian experts as well as the German experts. And then they get certified not only for the Indian market by ASDC, they also get internationally certified by the German agencies.
Right.
So these people then in turn are available for us to train candidates in the newer technologies.
Right.
And that's the pathway that we are taking at ASDC.
Are you also seeing these trainers who eventually get certified from your overseas counterparts as well? So are they getting opportunity to go overseas and maybe train people there?
Actually, overseas opportunities itself is a big space to work with. So while we had just initiated some work just before pandemic, but the pandemic has kind of pushed us back a couple of years because of the international travel restrictions, etc. So we're doing a very interesting project in the Middle East in terms of training drivers for licenses here, and then making them move over. But these are slightly low-end jobs. But we are also looking at service technicians, experienced service technicians. We are looking at manufacturing job roles in CNC, advanced CNC programming, etc. Where there is a very, very constant requirement that we are seeing from various overseas countries. I think we have to build an ecosystem around it. So our umbrella organization, National Skill Development Corporation, has already created a separate 100% subsidiary focused on international markets. And I'm pretty sure that will open up a lot of opportunities for people to look at international opportunities.
If you look at the structure of, you talked about NSDC. So if you look at the overall structure, so how is ASDC kind of, providing these courses, this curriculum? As a student, where do I need to go if I want to enroll into one of the programs?
So ASDC is like the apex organization within the automobile sector. And there are similar other sectoral organizations which are there in the country. So if someone is wanting to do a program in automotive industry, ASDC is a one-stop shop for them. We have a large number of affiliated training centers which are run by our training partners. And training partners range from OEMs to component companies to dealerships to standalone training companies or universities or polytechnic colleges and stuff like that, or ITIs even. So we have a mix of such people as our training providers, and the student can choose depending on what course they want to do and what location where they want to do it. They can come and select. We have a very interesting microsite in our website called careerguide.asdc.org.in, which gives the student an opportunity to explore. Where can they learn, and if they learn something, what can be their career pathway, etc. And that has been put together by a lot of different inputs from a lot of different experts. And I hope that over a period of time this will become very useful for these participants.
So in terms of the geographical presence right now, so how many training centers or these affiliated training centers do you have right now, and is there a plan to expand this going forward?
We are. We constantly keep looking at new locations. We had a peak of about 1,200 plus training centers. Because of COVID issues, etc., I think we are at about 850 active centers right now in terms of training centers. But we are very confident that we will be able to hit back to the 1,200 plus number very quickly in terms of geographical dispersion. We cover all states, all union territories where we have, and all kinds of programs, right from manufacturing to service to sales to driving. We have training providers.
Coming to some of these, new skills which are required. If you talk about the aftermarket or the after sales side of the business, so we are seeing a lot of uptick in the CNG space happening. A lot of people also buying automatic cars these days. So is there are students getting enrolled into these programs?
Yes.
Or is there an upscaling program which is being offered by ASDC at this point in time?
So CNG specifically, we are focusing much more on bringing in fresh skills. We are trying to see how can we offer the upskilling program also to the existing mechanics who can kind of upgrade themselves to also handle CNG part of it. The program is ready. We are looking at an opportunity to deploy that. However, we've already started with our CNG technician program, and we've already done close to about 200 numbers over the last 6-8 months. We started it after the second wave actually, and we are hopeful that now with the pandemic kind of settling in to normalcy more or less, hopefully we should be able to do more numbers here. more people can get into it, and more than 300 I think cities today are in CNG grid or CNG network.
Right.
So we do see that as an opportunity. Automatic vehicles and the newer technologies that are coming into
Yeah.
vehicles. A lot of vehicles today, just above the entry level, I would say, have started getting connected vehicle features,
Yeah.
etc. A lot more electronics is coming in. So we are doing specific upskilling programs in terms of how to use onboard diagnostics, how to use the diagnostic software, how to interpret error codes, how to fix parts or subunits, subassembly units based on the error code readings, etc. So I
Right.
think that is also being taken up.
Right. So these new technologies. So are you also eyeing ADAS on
Yes.
connected?
So and including drivers, for
Right.
instance, especially like if you have the driver assistance
Yeah.
systems kind of a thing. So we're doing a very interesting program where existing drivers are being upskilled on and telling them on features which are new technologies.
Right.
We're trying to upscale. See, you would probably know that some of these more sophisticated commercial vehicles today have lots of connective features. Gone are the days that you just had a GPS device.
Yeah.
You can do everything actually today for that vehicle remotely. So we are looking at how can we get more and more drivers ready to adapt to that system, because if the drivers are not ready, the manufacturers are also not going to be able to sell those vehicles.
Right.
So we are working very closely with the commercial vehicle manufacturers and trying to see how we could offer such programs to existing drivers who would want to go to the next level and
Right.
be aware of the newer technology.
Right.
Similarly, with the working population, I mean in the manufacturing or other service technician job roles, we are trying to see how what are those specific input areas that we need to upgrade them on, and it's a constant process, I would say.
Right.
Yeah.
On that
Thank
note,
you.
thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
Mr.
much.
Thank you so
you.
much for your
Thank you.
time.
Thank you.